Hi.
Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are brand new here, my name is Nikki and this is my book nook. I just realized I totally am blending in with the couch behind me. Kind of look like a floating head. I guess it's okay. But anyways, hi guys, how are you doing? I feel like I haven't filmed in so long. It's really only been like a week and a half or 2 weeks, but I've been so busy with all these concerts. A lot of my recent videos have been pre-recorded, so it's so good to be here talking to you guys again, and especially good because today we are talking about my favorite book I've read all month, one of my absolute favorite books I've read all year, and what honestly feels like is going to be one of my all-time favorite comfort reads. I can't even explain to you how much I love this book. So many of you guys have been recommending it to me for so long now. I finally did it. I finally read it. We are talking about The Wall of Winnipeg and Me by Mariana Zapata, the longest title in history, almost as long as the book. This was a thick boy, but it was so incredibly good. This is actually my second Mariana Zapata book. I read Culty first, which I really liked Culty. I honestly raved about it on this channel, but let me just tell you, Culty does not even hold a freaking candle to this book. I feel like they are in two separate stratospheres. That book was good, but this book was amazing. It has just left me thinking and contemplating, and I cannot stop smiling. Culty was an interesting little time, but I feel like The Wall of Winnipeg and Me is Culty's sexier older brother, truly, because Culty was written first. I feel like she wrote that. She got dipped her toe in the sports romance, power dynamic, slow burn, scandalous romance situation, and then this was what she worked her way up to, and it was just perfection. Y'all, I am telling you, if you are a fan of The Hating Game, which if you know me at all, you know that is one of my favorite books of all time. I absolutely love it. This book, even though it looks nothing like The Hating Game, there's literally a football player on the cover. Just trust me, you will adore this book. Honestly, it's kind of like The Hating Game, I feel, meets The Proposal, the movie The Proposal with Sandra Bullock and Ryan Reynolds. Honestly, combine the two, and I feel with a little bit of a twist, because the story is very different, but just the basic kind of concept and the vibes and the tropes, this book is totally that through and through, and I could not have loved it more. As always on this channel, if I am obsessed with a book, I really don't want to give you guys spoilers because I want you guys to go read it, so I'm not going to be doing any big spoilers in this video. I'm going to give just basic synopsis, tell you guys my thoughts, because you need to go read this book. So yes, The Wall of Winnipeg and Me. This story follows a girl named Vanessa. She works as a personal assistant for this man named Aiden Graves. He is in this story's version of the NFL. I think they call it the NFO, but he is basically the top defensive player in the entire league. He is known as the Wall of Winnipeg because he's originally from Winnipeg in Canada, and he is just a really good defensive player. That's the nickname he's been given, and everybody just knows him as that. So Vanessa has worked for Aiden for 2 years in this story, and she basically she does everything for him. She follows him everywhere, she coordinates everything, she even makes his meals. She is his right-hand man. His life does not happen without Vanessa, essentially, and they have never had a good relationship. Aiden is an incredibly talented, incredibly dedicated football player, but he just has no personal skills. He's just so focused on football and training and nutrition and his diet, and he's just so laser focused on that he really is not the nicest person. He doesn't really care for those around him. He's not very appreciative for anything Vanessa's ever done for him. He's never even taken the time to, he's never once said thank you or I'm sorry or just anything remotely human common sense to Vanessa. She does everything and is knows his schedule down to the minute, knows exactly what breakfast he wants at what time, and everything, and she always makes sure it's in order, and he never has had a nice thing to say to her. And Vanessa literally didn't know anything about football whenever she took on this position. She just found the listing for the job. She didn't know who Aiden Graves was. She doesn't know anything about the football league, and that honestly kind of made her the perfect assistant because she wasn't some starstruck fan that was wanting to get close to Aiden. She really, her goal was just to get some experience, save up a little money so that she could really go and live her dream, which is she's a graphic designer, and she's always just wanted to work for herself. But she's put in her 2 years working with Aiden, and I think initially she was going to stay a little bit longer, but it's been 2 years. She's fed up. Aiden has never had a nice thing to say to her, and she's worked her absolute butt off, and she is ready to take the plunge. She's saved up enough money that she feels somewhat comfortable, even though it's still a little terrifying to just fully be self-employed at this point. Vanessa lives a very modest living, but she has a ton of debt because she has a ton of student loans she's trying to pay off. She's had a really rough kind of childhood and family life, and whenever she went to college, like, she just wanted to get as far away from that as possible, so she went off to this school that was out of state and cost a ton of money. So it was kind of a dumb decision she made, and she has like hundreds of thousands of dollars in student loans. So basically the story starts out where Vanessa is, you know, Aiden's assistant, and we kind of see their relationship and their banter right off the bat, and it's not really much of banter because Aiden really doesn't say much of anything to Vanessa, just makes some grunts here and there, throws her a look, that's about it. But we're seeing Vanessa basically deciding like, this is the time, like, I'm gonna quit, I'm gonna put my 2 weeks in, and she is terrified to tell Aiden, obviously, because he's not the nicest person. She's been trying to find the right time to quit, but the last straw finally hits whenever Aiden's jerk of a manager basically makes some mean comments about Vanessa. She overhears them, and Aiden doesn't do anything to defend her because, as usual, like, he just doesn't have anything to say. He's just like in his own head, laser focused, doesn't care to speak up or defend Vanessa, and she's like, you know what, this is it, I deserve better, screw you, and she basically quits, and Aiden doesn't have anything to say about it. She walks out, and we kind of see some time go by, just like a few weeks, and basically Aiden ends up coming after Vanessa, and she can tell he never has much to say, but she could tell the last like few weeks, especially like before she quit, that something had been off with him. And he basically like comes back to her house and is like, I need you to come back. Like, it's the first time he really kind of opens up, and he's like, nobody understands me like you do. Like, without really saying it, is like, I need you. Like, I need you back. Please come back. And she's like, no, I'm not coming back. I deserve better. I have a job now, whatever. So finally, on like the 5th attempt of him coming back to her, she's like, there's something else going on here. Like, what's really wrong? Like, what's up? What's up with you? And he pretty much admits to her that his visa is about to expire. So again, he's from Canada. He's in America on a visa to play football, and he doesn't currently know what he's gonna do when it comes to football. He doesn't know if he's switching teams. Like, he's just in like a weird funk, a weird place, and his visa's about to expire, and he's only on the visa because he's on this certain team, and he basically has a very short window to get this fixed, or he's gonna be deported. He's gonna have to leave the country. And so you know, she's like, well, Aiden, I'm sorry, like, that's not really my problem. Like, you should have figured that out months ago. Like, you know, why don't you just, like, she's trying to offer solutions, and she's like, why don't you just get somebody to marry you? And he's like, yeah, I've thought of that, sort of thing. And pretty much Aiden doesn't like anybody, and he admits that openly. He's like, you know, I don't like anybody, but I like you as well as I like anybody else, sort of thing. Essentially, it's like, Vanessa, I need you to marry me so that I can keep my citizenship and stay in the country. This is why I'm saying it's very much like the proposal, because it's literally with the Canada, the visa, all of it. He's like, Vanessa, like, please come back. Like, I need you in my life. Like, you're the only person that understands like all my quirks, like all my schedule, like the way that I live my life. Like, I need you back. And she's like, no, absolutely not. Are you crazy? You're asking me to marry you. We've never even had a real conversation. I don't even, like, we don't even like each other. Why would I marry you? Also, this is a felony. You understand. And basically, after a ton of back and forth, Aiden finally drops like this bombshell of, look, if you marry me, I will pay off all your student loans and I'll buy you a house. Which, like, is a life-changing thing. Again, Vanessa has like hundreds of thousands of dollars in student loans. She lives in this crappy apartment. Like, yes, she can make ends meet, but like, she's gonna be paying off this debt for like a majority of her life. Like, it would be an absolute life-changing thing to have no debt and to have a house. And so that's the first thing that really makes her pause. And she's like, are you serious? So obviously, as you can tell, like, she ends up agreeing. And so this is one of those stories, you know, fake dating, but it's also like enemies to lovers fake dating, which I love. I know so many of you guys love. It's like a marriage of convenience situation, but, you know, obviously, because they have to, like, this is a different sort of situation because it's involving like the law, and they have to be able to prove that they're really in a relationship. And also, Aiden is a very public figure. Like, he, again, is one of the most popular best players in the NFL. So he's in the public eye. Like, this isn't just some casual, like, oh, let's pretend to get married. Like, he's gonna be followed, he's gonna be seen. So like, she has to move in with him, and they basically agree that like, for it to not look fishy, for him to get his like permanent residency, they need to agree to basically be married for like 5 years. So she kind of like drops everything and moves in with him, and I'm not gonna say anything more. You guys might think I just gave the whole story away, but I promise you this is like a 700-page book, and all of that happens with like within the first 100 pages. So you guys have like 600 more pages to see the journey that happens throughout this story. But I will just say Mariana Zapata is the freaking queen. I've only read 2 of her books, but I'm willing to say this because I've heard other people say it, and I'm like, yes, I freaking agree. She is the queen of slow burn. Like, slow burn to me is so important in a story. Like, I know some people are annoyed by it, they feel like it drags things out, but like, I think it's truly the best part. Like, I think her stories and her relationships are just so realistic compared to other books. Like, you just see the casual build of like friendship and the bonding and like all the little things that slowly start to connect, and then like how they're brought back up later and how people slowly like grow closer, and you can literally see the chemistry like building and just like everything. It's all the little moments, all the little, it's so many like little things in this book just added up to be one of the best books I've read all year. Like, I just smiled like an idiot reading this. Again, it was like 700 pages, but she manages to make it feel like it's like 50. I never at any point, it's weird because it's like not a ton of like, this book was not like super dramatic. Like, there weren't like a lot of like crazy things that happened where I was like, oh my God, but it's just like such an easy read, and it was so addicting, and like you don't want to put it down because she gives you just like so many crumbs here and there, and just like little things, like just enough to like keep you hanging on and keeping you interested, and like you just want to see like when will their next interaction be. Like, oh, he just like smirked at her, like what does that mean? It's just so many like little things, and I freaking loved it so much. And I feel like I'm just repeating myself. I don't know what else to say, but seriously, if you guys, again, if you love the hating game, if you love fake dating, if you like enemies to lovers, if you like the like workplace romance, like boss employee sort of dynamic, which is one of my personal favorites. I just think it's so good. Forced proximity because they're having to live in the same house. Like, there's just so many great tropes in this, and I think that everyone should read it. And I really think I'm gonna reread this book over and over again. I just feel like it was such a like comforting read. It was so good. And once everything built up, I was just, the end had me smiling like an idiot. I loved it so much. But yes, guys, if it's not obvious yet, The Wall of Winnipeg and Me was 100% a 5-star read for me. Very much Nikki approved. Go out and get it. I promise you won't regret it. But yes, that is it for me today. If you guys have read this book already, of course, as always, leave your comments down below. I love to talk with you guys. I'd love to just rave about this book a little bit more. I think I'm just gonna be thinking about it for weeks to come. So good. But yes, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you very soon. Bye.